The conditions right now already changing. The wind is picking up. The surf behind me is rising, as officials right now are warning residents to have at least 7 days of food, supplies, and medicine, as we have already seen the kind of damage Isaias can do.
Hurricane Isaias cut its way across the Caribbean, slamming the already battered Bahamas, still recovering from Dorian, snapping palm trees and serving up 5-foot storm surge. Windows boarded up on Grand Bahama Island as the floodgates opened in Puerto Rico, prompting water rescues, young children carried in the arms of National Guardsmen, and elderly residents removed from harm's way. Hundreds of thousands with no electricity or water, and a woman still missing after her car was swept off a bridge. In the Dominican Republic, flooding and fatalities. 2 people killed, including a 5-year-old boy, as residents sought refuge from the rising waters on their roofs. Downgraded to a tropical storm, but expected to re-strengthen to a hurricane when it lashes Florida overnight.
Even if the eye of the storm stays off the coast, there, of course, is going to be impacts when you're talking about hurricane or tropical storm force winds.
In Miami Beach, palm trees shook from Isaias' outer bands. As farther north, hurricane warnings from Palm Beach County to Florida's Space Coast.
What would trigger alarm for you when it comes to a hurricane?
If the cat was much higher, if it was more like Cat 2, Cat 3, Cat 4, I'll be more cautious.
This Broward County beach, earlier filled with people as the state deals with storms and a pandemic.
Everybody has to put their thinking caps on and think outside the box. You really have to make a plan.
From shelter spacing to proper PPE, those crafting emergency response policy are facing a new test. Palm Beach County has a half-dozen shelters going up. Volusia County also anticipating evacuations.
Everybody will make sure we have masks, hand sanitizer, everybody get their individual hand sanitizer, and then of course social distancing. Everybody will get 60 square feet.
Hospitals in South Florida boarding up their windows as they continue treating COVID patients. And outdoor testing sites are closed with the hurricane approaching at a time the state can ill afford to do so.
Sam, even if this storm doesn't make landfall, what kind of dangers are Floridians facing?
Yeah, that's a great question, Jose. Even if the hurricane does not make landfall, it is still capable of dishing out hurricane force gusts. And in this case, the storm is projected to be about 15 to 20 miles off the coast, easily close enough, Jose, to knock down power lines and wreak havoc.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.